Hi, today we're going to be making apple tart tatin, and we're going to be serving that with a hazelnut praline ice cream. To start with, we need some beautiful Granny Smith apples. They're nice and tart and they go really well in the oven. Camilla is going to peel and chop the apples for me, and we need to
I'll take that next.
need to scoop the middle out and keep the apple nice and large. That's the key to making this tart tatin hold together. So to start with, I've got 25 grams of unsalted butter, which I'm going to melt in my pan. And we're going to start preparing the apples. So we just want to cut them in half, and then Camilla's going to core them out. You need 3 or 4 apples depending on the size of your pan. Once your butter starts to melt, you want to put half your sugar. So we've got 65 grams of sugar here, and we just want to put half in first. And what that does is gets it a very light caramel, and then we finish, the remaining sugar goes on top of the apples, which helps it caramelize the top as well. Okay, now that Camilla's got some of the apples ready, what we want to do is actually put the apples in on the rounded side down, because remember, an apple tart tatin is cooked upside down and then flipped over when it's finished. So we put our apples into our sugar and our butter and work from the outside in. So this recipe has taken 3½ apples, and you can see how the apple has taken up a lot of the pan. There's not much space to see. What we want to do now is sprinkle the remaining sugar on top, and see how the sugar beautifully fills those little holes. And what we want to do is just turn it to a half heat. And you want to hear those apples sizzle a little bit, and that's the juice mixing with the caramel. We want to get a beautiful golden brown caramel, but we don't want to burn it. The key to a good caramel is getting it as close to burnt as you can without burning it. So we're going to leave that for about 15 to 20 minutes. So we're now back to our apple tart tatin, and it's got a beautiful caramel now, nice and dark. The apples have started to soften up, so now we need to put the pastry on and get it ready to go in the oven. So you want to have your pastry cut slightly bigger than your pan. The reason being, you need to tuck the edges in, because that's what holds it together when you turn it upside down. If you put it just flat, the pastry will shrink, you'll turn it upside down and your apples will all fall out. So what you need to do is get the same size pan that you have and be quite generous with the pastry. So what we want to do is lay that over the top and push those edges in very, very carefully, because remember, the caramel is extremely hot. I'll use a little spatula just to poke that in so I don't touch the caramel with my fingers. So you can see that the excess pastry is forming like a little pillow. It's come right the way around the side. Now this needs to go into an oven that's preheated to 220 degrees, because you want the pastry to explode really quickly, and then you can turn it down a little bit and allow the apples to cook through. Okay, so we're back with our tart tatin. It's beautifully crispy, and you can see it's moving around, which shows that it shouldn't stick. Now, what you want to do is put your plate and tip it upside down, and that's come away beautifully. So you can see how you've got the gorgeous caramelized apples, and we're going to just serve that now with a beautiful hazelnut praline ice cream. You can serve this with anything. A lot of people like to serve it with a nice vanilla bean, a little bit of icing sugar, and that's ready to go. Beautiful apple tart tatin.